What's up guys? In this video I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you how to basically log in and log out from your application using the authentication product of Firebase. You're going to see that is something ultra simple, and yeah, let's get to that. So first of all, go here to your Firebase project and go to the authentication product. So here you can see that we do not have any users. So click the button here that says something like add a user or whatever. So here it is asking you for an email and a password. So for example, I'm going to put something ultra simple. So here I'm going to put my email. Okay, .gmail. Okay, perfect. And here what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put a super simple password. So just check that yeah, just leave it like that. So we are going to create here the user. Okay, and now we are going to test if we are able to log in with this user. Okay, perfect. So remember that in the previous video we were creating a context, and in this context, in the provider, we defined two functions, the login and the logout. So the login and the logout are going to basically act towards this thing. So check this column that it doesn't say anything because we haven't logged in. So how do we basically log in? First of all, let's go to the Firebase file, the Firebase config, and here what we are going to do is that we are going to import the authentication product. Well, the authentication object. So here export const, and we are going to put here auth, get auth. That's right, perfect. Also, we are going to need to import this in the future. So also let's export this. Let's put here export. And perfect. Now we have the authentication. We have to import this function, by the way. Okay, let me see why I cannot import this function. Let me indeed delete all these comments. So let's delete all these comments. And here it is not telling me what is the function, but yeah, the path to that function is basically import. And we are going to put get auth from, and here just put Firebase, and here it is auth, as simple as this. Perfect. So now we have the authentication, and what we have to do is that we have to go back to the provider, and here in the provider we are going to define this function. So for example, let's start with the login. So here what we are going to do is that first of all, since the function is being called, we have to say that, hey, this is loading. So here we are going to put set loading, and we are going to put true. At the end, we are going to put this to false. So let's put here this false, and we are going to code here in the middle. Perfect. So what is the next thing that we must do? So the thing that we must do is that we have to put here a try catch in case there is an error, and indeed we are going to put here a finally, and here inside this finally we are going to place the set loading to false. Always it is going to be, the loading is going to be set to false, either everything works or either we have an error. So in case we have an error, we want to know what is happening. So here we are going to put log, console log, and we are going to read, well, we are going to log the error. If you put this into production, I do not recommend you doing this. This is just to develop, to debug and all this, but if you put this into production, remove this console log. Perfect. So what is the next thing that we have to do? Okay, in case we have an error, we are going to return that error object. Okay, that error, that's right. And now we must log in. How do we log in? Okay, indeed, we do not need to return this, don't worry. How do we log in? It is as simple as using the sign in with email and password. Okay, that's it. This is an asynchronous function. Check that this returns a promise. Check this out. And here what we are going to do is that we are going to put await, and we are going to put here auth. We need to take the auth object that we exported before. That's right. Check that we imported this here, and now we need to send the email and the password. This is something that we are going to receive here, email and password. But yes, so here we are going to put email and password. Perfect. Okay, what is the next thing that we have to do? We don't have to do anything else. So let's define the logout function. The logout function is even easier. So from the auth object that we have, we are just going to take this and we are going to say, okay, auth, and we are going to call sign out. That's it. It is as simple as that. But check this out, guys. Here, we are not doing anything with the state. We are just logging and logging out, but we are not actually doing anything with the state. Why? How come? This is because there is a listener to the logged state that Firebase provides to us. So for example, here we can create the auth listener, okay? And this is going to be a function that is going to execute the following function on auth state changed. Whenever the state changes, here what we are going to do is that we are going to establish the state, the global state. So here on auth state changed, it receives several things. So for example, here we have the auth object. So put here auth object, and now it returns an observer. An observer is nothing else than a function. So here we are going to put a function, and check this out. What this returns is the user. So for example, whenever we log in and the login is successfully, this function will get triggered. Well, this function, indeed, this one, this will get triggered, and the function will receive a user. So what we have to do here is that we are going to return dispatch. We are going to dispatch. We are going to set the state. And here we have to send two things. The type, and in this case, the type is login. Okay, let's import types, login. And here we are going to send the payload. Indeed, what we are going to do is that we are going to put, we don't need to put log true, because check this out. Remember that here in the reducer, we are setting log to true. That's right. Here, what we need to send is basically all the information about the user. So for example, here we're going to put the ID. Okay, let me put this right. ID, user.uid. We are going to put the name, user.display name. Okay, display name, oh my god. We are going to put the email. Let's put here user.email. And we are going to put here the token, user.access token. Is this? Yeah, access token. Excellent. So, one thing. Okay, whenever we log in, this user will have information. But how do we know if we are logging out, if the user is logging out? If the user is logging out, here you will not receive anything. You will receive null. So in this case, what we're going to do is that, okay, if not user, this is the case on which we are logging out, we are going to again return dispatch. But in this case, we are going to send the type, and we are going to put types log out. We don't need to send any payload, because check this out. Here in the reducer, for the logout, we are not sending any payload. Okay, guys, so when should we put this trigger to work? So we should put this trigger to what? To work here in the useEffect function. useEffect hook, sorry. So here in the useEffect hook, we are going to call this function. We are going to put auth listener, and we want to execute this only whenever the application loads. So we don't put any dependency here. So this is going to be executed only once. Okay, we have created the provider, and now it is time to test it. But before we test it, remember that in order to make the application use this, we must put this somewhere. So where should we put this? So we could go to the app.js, and here, check this out, this is called auth provider. So here, what we are going to do is that we are going to call the auth provider, check this out, and we are going to put the routes inside here. Perfect. And guys, it is as simple as this. Now everything under the Auth provider will have access to that information that we have created here. So check this out. If we go to the routes folder, animated routes, here, it doesn't matter on which screen we are. These screens, these components will be able to access to the information. So, okay, how do we test this? We are going to put npm.start. That's right. Let's wait a little bit until this starts. And for now, what we are going to do is that, okay, let's wait. It seems to be working fine. Okay, we have a problem, and is that in the Auth provider, we have not imported the use state. So let's go here and let's import this. That's right. Okay, and now we do not have any kind of issue. But how do we implement the login? For now, what we are going to do is that we are just simply going to, for example, we were in the home screen, right? We are going to create in the home screen a button. Let me put here a button. We are going to create a button that when it's pressed, it is going to basically log in with the information that we created before. So for example, let's put here login. Let's save. Check this out. Here we have the button login. Now it is not doing anything. But now what we are going to do is that we are going to define this function on click. And here we are going to put login. How do we actually take this login function? We have to take the context. So this is the first time that we are going to take the context. To take the context, we just have to put here use context. And here we say, okay, which context? We want the authentication context. Okay, so remember that now we have lots of information. So for example, we have the user, the global user, and check this out. In the provider, we said that we were sending also the login function. So here we are going to import the login. Let me write this perfect. Okay. And here, basically, what we are going to do is that whenever this button is clicked, we are going to call login, and we are going to send the information that we established here in the, okay, let me save. Okay. We are going to put the information that we established for this user. So remember, it was kekoma2.gmail.com, and here we have to send the password. So here the password was admin1. Okay, so check this out. Let's update this page. And we can see that here, this is not being, nobody accessed here. So let's press this button. And indeed, let me go to the Chrome just to check if we have an error. So let's go here to the Chrome. Let's go here to localhost. Okay, here we have a problem. Properties on the text context. Okay, apparently there are problems with the firebase, with the firebase basically thing. So, okay, what we are going to do is that we are going to go to the public folder, and we are going to take all this and we are going to put it commented. So we are going to comment this. This is basically what Firebase creates whenever we initialize the project. So basically it changes this file. Perfect, so we are here. Let's inspect so that we can see the console in case there is an error. Let's go to the console. Okay, let's update this. And here, okay, ignore these things. So we are going to press login. Okay, apparently there was not an error. So let's come here, let's update the page. And here you can see that the access date has changed and is the current one. So this means that the login is working perfectly. No worries, we will fix all this. This is due to whatever is happening, but we will fix that in the future. But guys, this is how basically we import the login and the logout. We could create another button to basically log out, but it is not needed. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, give it a like, share, subscribe, and we see each other in the next one.